Alright, so in today's class we will deal with heat and thermodynamics. So your heat and thermodynamics part will totally actually contain the following chapters. One is temperature and thermal expansion. Basically your temperature is, in some books it will be given as thermometry. This will be your first chapter. Your second chapter is calorimetry. Third chapter that you have in this is your KTG, that is your kinetic theory of gases. Your fourth chapter will be laws of thermodynamics. And your fifth chapter that you have finally is your heat transfer. Okay, so these are your chapters which are actually present in your thermodynamics. Now in today's class we will be seeing only basic information. Now all these chapters will be discussed in detail, and your problem solving session lectures will be completely different. Now these parts, okay, in each chapter what will you actually learn is, in this chapter you will learn your temperature and its calculations. Now when objects are heated, okay, what will happen is expansion. So you will be calculating final length, final volume, final area, okay, and then volume spilled out, such kind of stuff. So in this chapter more concentration will be on expansion, and in calorimetry our concentration will be mixing two different temperature bodies, and calculating final temperature and heat exchanged, okay, heat exchanged. And in kinetic theory of gases we will be seeing speeds of molecules, energies, okay, and mixtures and degrees of freedom. All these kind of stuff we will be studying. And your laws of thermodynamics, your first law, second law, we'll study in detail. So basically it is calculation of heat energy, internal energy and work. And in heat transfer, once again your dq by dt, how much heat energy is transferred, and your final temperatures if required, temperature of junctions and all we'll calculate in this chapter. Okay, so now in first today's class I'll discuss only basic things. So first we'll start with what is the meaning of heat, what is the meaning of temperature and all we'll see in today's class, and then we'll start with your thermal expansion. Okay, so now first we are supposed to understand two important terms. Okay, one is heat and other is temperature. Now often these are actually misunderstood terms. Okay, so usually temperature is, okay, in the books they will give the definition like this, that is your degree of hotness or coldness of a body is actually mentioned as temperature. It will be actually mentioned as temperature. And coming to your heat energy, your heat energy is, okay, your heat energy is, okay, heat means it is energy only automatically. Regarding energy I will talk about it now, okay. So now what is the, I mean these are books, definitions in the books, so I will talk about each in detail now. So now normally best example to understand is, let us say two people are actually sitting in a park, let us say a person 1 and here it is person 2, okay, two people are sitting in this bench, person 1 and person 2, let us say this is A and this is B, and they are sitting on the bench in summer. Now if you ask me, okay, I mean if I give you this to be a wooden bench and if this is given as a metal bench, okay, if you ask me a question which bench is hot, what is your answer? So which bench is hot means, okay, this hot or cold, this hot and cold, hotness and coldness, often these terms are actually misunderstood terms, okay. So many people they will actually misinterpret these terms. So in what way they are actually misinterpreted, I will tell you. Now for example, okay, if let us say there are two bodies here, okay, now let us say this is at 30 degrees centigrade and this is at 50 degrees centigrade, okay. So these two bodies are at different temperatures, okay. Now here, okay, this hotness and coldness is actually your physical sensation, okay. So when we are touching some object, if we receive heat energy from it, then we will feel that body to be hot, and if we are touching some cold body, if we are giving out heat energy to that body, we feel coldness, okay. This hotness and coldness, this hot or cold, okay, this hotness and coldness is actually sensation, okay. So all these are actually sensation. Sensation means that sense, the touch that we actually feel, okay. We have some physical senses, we can see, we can breathe, okay, like that. When we touch some object, okay, because of the contact with the skin, we feel this hotness or coldness, okay. So not like heroine or hero becoming hot, okay, that hot is different, okay. So that hotness of heroine is related to beauty, okay. So that hotness and coldness is different, this hotness and coldness is different, okay. This hotness and coldness is related to exchange of heat energy. Now first of all, okay, if you ask me these two bodies here, okay, to understand temperature, okay, if you ask me a question, okay, so which is at higher temperature is my first question, okay. Which bench is at higher temperature, it is my first question. Now what is your answer? Your answer, if you are thinking that, many people will think, okay, regarding temperature, which bench is at higher temperature means, many people will think that metal is at higher temperature, okay. But here the answer is, okay, answer I am writing it very clearly, that is both are at same temperature, okay, both are at same temperature, okay. For example, if it is summer and temperature is some 45 degrees centigrade, okay, so both will be at same 45 degrees centigrade temperature, okay. Here temperature is completely a different idea and heat energy is different idea, and your hotness and coldness is also a different idea, okay. So here temperature is same, okay, that degree of hotness and coldness will be same, but if you are talking about heat energy, that hotness or coldness, okay, your metal conducts more heat energy in a given amount of time. Okay, so in a particular amount of time, okay, I'll write that very clearly. In a particular amount of time dt, okay, in a particular amount of time dt, what happens is, that means dt means small time. In a particular amount of time, what happens is, your wood, okay, there is one more term that you are supposed to understand, that is what is known as conductivity. Okay, so this conductivity is different for wood, conductivity is different for metal. Okay, so now what happens is, in a particular amount of time dt, okay, metal transfers, okay, metal transfers more amount of heat energy, metal transfers more amount of heat energy compared to wood. Okay, so basically here what is more means conductivity of metal is more compared to wood. As a result, what happens is, when we sit on this metal bench, in that short span of time, more amount of heat energy is given by this metal into our body. So we feel that hotness and coldness, as I have told you, as I have explained you, we feel more amount of hotness or coldness because of the fact that in a particular amount of time, more amount of heat energy is transferred into our body when we are sitting in the metal bench. Okay, so here what is happening is that hotness and coldness is sense or touch related thing, and that we are getting it because of the extraction of heat energy from that particular object. Okay, so now here, okay, here conductivity is a different term that I want you to understand, and that hotness and coldness are related to conductivity of the materials. Okay, so if a body is having more conductivity, it will give or absorb more amount of heat energy. So when a high temperature body is coming in contact with this cold temperature body, automatically heat energy transfers. So whether this person sits on wooden bench or whether this person sits on metal bench, no difference will be there. In both the cases, heat energy will be transferred from this hot body to cold body, because normal human body temperature is around 37-38 degrees centigrade, right? So now here what happens is, because this wooden bench is around 45, it transfers heat energy. Here this metal bench is also at 45, it will also transfer heat energy. Now this heat energy will flow from hot body to cold body. Okay, and your hot body will absorb, hot body will give heat energy and cold body will take heat energy. But in this case, we feel more hotness in case of metal bench, because it is transferring more amount of heat energy in a particular amount of time. Okay, it's not that wooden bench will not transfer heat energy. Even sitting on the wooden bench also will make you feel hot, but compared to wood, metal is more hotter, because in a particular amount of time conductivity is more, so more amount of heat energy is transferred. Okay, so here from moral of the story is, temperature is a different criteria and heat energy is a different criteria. Okay, so they are completely different. Okay, so and conductivity of hotness or coldness are different. Okay, those terms are actually different. Okay, so from this you must have understood this basically what is happening. Okay, so that hotness or coldness feeling is different, and that temperature is a different idea and heat energy is a different idea. Okay, so I will talk about each in detail now. Okay, so for understanding sake I told you. Okay, so here more conductivity is there for metal, so as a result more amount of heat energy is transferred. Okay, so here because reason is ultimately I'll say conductivity. Okay, conductivity is the reason here. Okay, for this hotness or coldness. Okay, so keep this idea in mind. Okay, now we'll start with what is the meaning of heat energy and all. Okay, so now in general, okay, when we are talking or using the word heat, I am indirectly referring to heat energy. Okay, if I am using the word heat, I am indirectly referring to heat energy. Now, okay, so what is this heat energy? I will tell you. Okay, now any energy, okay, you name any energy, that will be in these three forms. Okay, you give me any energy, I will say it is ultimately potential energy, kinetic energy, and then mass energy. Okay, so here, from here, okay, I want you to start copying down. Okay, so here my point is, okay, your energy, okay, you name any energy, okay, it will be in the form of potential energy, kinetic energy, or mass energy. Okay, so you name, you give me any energy, it belongs to these three categories. Okay, now what is your heat or heat energy means? Okay, your heat energy is, okay, I will talk about this in KTG in detail, but for now just, okay, it is related to, okay, your heat energy is related to kinetic energy of molecules. Okay, heat energy is related to kinetic energy of molecules. This kinetic energy will be, okay, usually in the form of translational kinetic energy, and it will be rotational kinetic energy, and it will also be in the form of vibrational kinetic energy. Okay, so you name any heat energy. Okay, for now it is a term related to kinetic energy of molecules. Okay, so that kinetic energy will be translational kinetic energy, rotational kinetic energy, and vibrational kinetic energy. Okay, so your energy, okay, is, okay, is a heat energy is a term related to kinetic energy of molecules. So in our energy diagram, where will this heat energy come means, your heat energy will come into kinetic energy of molecules. Okay, so potential energy, kinetic energy, and mass energy. Okay, ultimately you only have these three forms of energies. So your heat energy is nothing but your kinetic energy of molecules. Okay, how it is related and what is it, we will see in KTG later. Okay, but for now, if I am using the word heat, okay, you have to understand that is, it is a term related to kinetic energy of molecules. Okay, that kinetic energy will be translational kinetic energy half mv square, rotational kinetic energy half I omega square, and vibrational kinetic energy. Okay, so these are, okay, the forms of kinetic energy that you have. For now, heat energy is related to kinetic energy of molecules. Okay, and of course temperature is also related to kinetic energy, but this part for now, you just, I want you to understand that your heat energy is term related to kinetic energy. Next important thing is, okay, why heat energy flows. Okay, why heat energy flows, heat flows or heat energy flows is one question that we need to understand. And second, how, I mean, from where to where heat energy flows. Okay, how heat energy flows, if you ask me that question, okay, maybe my question is not right, but in which direction heat energy flows, okay, in what direction heat energy flows, okay, is another question. To understand this, you need to understand one more important idea. Okay, I will tell you now. For example, if you have a body A and you have another body B like this, okay, in which direction, if you are asking me, okay, so there are two bodies like this, A and B. Okay, now in which direction heat energy flows, if you ask me, okay, what is my answer? Okay, I will tell you now. Okay, my answer, ultimately answer is, okay, heat flows from high temperature body to, okay, high temperature body to cold body. Okay, cold body means indirectly low temperature body. Okay, because of lack of space I am writing it like this. Now, okay, in what direction heat energy flows means it will flow from hot body to cold body. Now you can only say, okay, I want you to understand my language properly. You can only say, okay, from direction of heat flow, okay, if it is high temperature, okay, T high and your temperature is T low like this, okay, from this you can say, okay, looking at this direction of heat flow, you can say that this is at high temperature and this is at low temperature, but you cannot say which is having more amount of heat energy. Okay, so my point is, if you have two bodies like this, okay, internally let us say this is having 100 joules, internally this is having 1000 joules of heat energy. It doesn't matter to us which is having more heat. Okay, this body can have more amount of heat, but still if this is at high temperature and if this is at low temperature, okay, so what happens is your heat energy flows from high temperature body to low temperature body. So why heat energy flows means, okay, because of temperature difference. Now because of temperature difference, why, if you ask me once again, if you go into details, okay, having temperature difference will alone not actually cause the heat energy to flow. I mean indirectly having temperature difference, what it will do is it will bring some difference in energies. Okay, so every system actually it will try to acquire stability. Stability means indirectly it is the term related to potential energy. Okay, so stability is the term related to potential energy. So every system what it will do is it will try to acquire stability by minimizing the potential energy. So what happens is this hot body or high temperature body, okay, if I am using the word hot body, it means indirectly high temperature body. Okay, so hot body is high temperature body, just hold on, okay, from 3 o'clock, right. So your hot body is high temperature body, okay, so that will have more amount of vibrational kinetic energy, translational kinetic energy if it is gas, vibrational kinetic energy if it is a solid, okay, and it is combination of both, it depends upon the liquid. Okay, so now that high temperature, okay, it will have more kinetic energy. That kinetic energy will be distributed into different parts of the body. As a result, what happens is your stability will be attained by transferring the energy. So ultimately why heat energy flows means because of temperature difference, and in which direction it flows means from high temperature to low temperature body. Now here in these two cases you can actually only measure the temperature difference. Okay, so from here to here how much, okay, heat energy symbol is Q. If you are writing, it is actually correct only, but this heat is Q, heat energy difference is delta Q. Okay, heat energy difference is delta Q. This is what we actually can measure. Okay, we can only measure the energy difference. Okay, if for example if I say I am giving 10 rupees to somebody, okay, so if you ask me am I rich, because I am giving, it doesn't mean I am rich. Okay, I may be poor and I borrowed some money from some rich person, I am returning back that amount from the rich, returning to the rich person back again. So my point is, you cannot say who is rich or who is poor just by looking at this direction of heat flow. Okay, so internally it could be anything, but what we can actually measure is delta Q. We cannot measure Q. Okay, we cannot measure heat energy, we can only measure the energy difference. Okay, how much energy has been transferred from one body to other body, that we can measure. We cannot measure internally what is there. Okay, right. So you can only measure the difference, you cannot measure internally what is present in the body. Okay, so this delta Q we'll measure and we'll calculate this delta Q. Okay, internally what is there? That is internal energy, that we'll talk once again in kinetic theory of gases separately. But for now, try to understand that heat energy means it flows from high temperature body to low temperature body, and you can only measure the difference. Initially it is having some amount of heat, after giving some amount, okay, how much has it given? Internally what is there, you cannot measure that, and how much a body has taken. Okay, so these things you just keep in mind regarding your heat energy. Okay, so now to understand from where to where heat energy flows, obviously we need to study temperature. Okay, so this story is for heat energy. Okay, so heat, it is a form of energy, that's all. Okay, and from where to where it travels, from why it travels, because of temperature difference. From where to where, from high temperature body to low temperature body. Okay, so that much only I can explain as of now, looking at the heat energy. Now continuing further, okay, next we need to study temperature, because ultimately your heat energy, when it goes from one body to other body, what it will do is it will okay, increase the temperature of whichever body it is going to, and it will decrease the temperature of body whichever it is taking. Okay, so now we need to study temperature. Okay, so we need some measurement. Okay, so temperature, okay, this study is actually called as thermometry. Okay, thermometry is branch or science which deals with measurement of temperature. Okay, metry means measurement of temperature. Okay, so study of temperature is your thermometry. Okay, so now how we need to measure this temperature, I will tell you. But why, okay, if you ask me why you are studying this thermometry means, okay, we need to study or measure temperature, measuring temperature. Okay, for measurement of temperature we need to study thermometry. Now why we are measuring this temperature means indirectly your heat energy difference. Okay, if I just simply use the word heat or heat energy, I need this for delta Q measurement. Okay, so what is the final temperature and all those calculations are required. Okay, so Y means for measurement of temperature, and in Y, I mean with the help of measuring temperature we actually measure the heat energy exchanged and its direction, and all the story we can talk about it if we have understood the measurement of temperature. Now, okay, now next important thing is how will you actually measure the temperature. Okay, so we need to measure temperature. Obviously we need to measure the temperature because for these reasons, to calculate heat energy, to give the direction of heat flow, and if we are touching something whether we will feel hot or cold, what happens, conductivity, all those things, to know everything related to heat, okay, and your heat energy, we need to measure temperature. Okay, because temperature is the ultimate factor that will explain what is happening. So now to measure this temperature, okay, can we directly measure it means no. Okay, we cannot directly measure the temperature. So what will we actually do is, okay, we will actually use, okay, what are called as thermometric properties. Okay, to measure temperature we will use the idea of thermometric properties. What are these thermometric properties means, okay, I will tell you. First one is length. Okay, second one it will be volume, third one it is pressure, okay, fourth one it is resistance, fifth one it is EMF. Okay, like this there are a lot of terms. Now how you will measure temperature means, for that we will use the thermometric properties. Thermometric properties means, okay, all these are affected by, okay, so all these will get affected by okay, will get affected, okay, will get affected by heat energy, okay, heat energy and temperature, okay, all these properties will get affected, okay. Usually if you take length it will expand, if you take volume it is changing, if you take pressure it is changing, if you are taking resistance it will change, if you take EMF will change, okay. So when temperature is changing, because of all these properties are changing, because of the fact that all these properties are changing, I can use this in measurement of temperature, okay. So these properties which are affected by this temperature or heat is, these properties are your thermometric properties. So using these thermometric properties, I will try to measure the temperature. Now why only these? Why not area? Why not some other property? Means all these properties are actually directly proportional to temperature, okay. All these thermometric properties are, okay, if I name all these thermometric properties as symbol X, okay, this symbol X is directly proportional to temperature, okay. So what is this? Means this is thermometric property, okay, and this is your temperature, okay. Now all these scales that you are actually using today, they are actually, okay, all these properties are actually varying linearly with respect to temperature, okay. All these properties are varying linearly with respect to temperature. So using this fact we will try to measure the temperature, okay, getting my point. So increasing the temperature will change these thermometric properties, and how we are how these thermometric properties varying with temperature means direct proportionality. So if it is length, for example, if temperature is double, length will become double. If it is pressure, if temperature is double, pressure will become double. If volume is doubling, volume is doubling, temperature also will become double. So we need some reference, so we will take these thermometric properties for reference for measurement of temperature. Now usually, okay, so your reference will be, okay, your reference is, okay, ice and steam is used for reference, okay. So your thermometric property in ice is X0, at steam it is, okay, at 100 degrees centigrade we have it, no. So X100 and X0 degree centigrade and X100 degree centigrade, okay. In Celsius scale, lot of other scales you can do it, but for now just understand that, okay, your thermometric property for reference scale at 0 degrees, something we have to call it as 0, you cannot call everything to be 0. So we usually take ice point as 0 and steam point as 100 in Celsius scale. If it is Kelvin scale, 0 will be 273 and 100 will be 373, okay, it depends upon the scales. But for reference sake we will take this, and okay, we will try to measure the, okay, temperature, okay. Now how will we actually measure the temperature? I will tell you. So now based on this property, okay, all our scales are based on linear variation, okay. So now what is this linear variation and how to calculate temperature? I will tell you. So calculation of temperature is what we are doing now, okay. How we can calculate is, okay, your thermometric property can be written as X equal to K into T, some constant K into T, because there is direct proportionality. So if you take X at 0, this will become, if I substitute in Kelvin scale, okay, unless otherwise mentioned, entire thermodynamics we have to go for Kelvin scale. For now your temperature in degrees centigrade, okay, your temperature in degrees centigrade, hello, చెప్పండి. అవును చెప్పండి. Yeah. Right now I'm in class. You just call me after 3 o'clock. Right now I'm a little busy. I'll call you back at 3. Is it okay? Yeah, sure. Right. So now at, your temperature at T degrees centigrade is how much? Means it is, sorry, temperature in Kelvin scale is temperature in degrees centigrade plus 273. Okay, I'll give this relation just next part. Okay, but now our target is calculation of temperature. So if I am trying to calculate temperature here, x at 0 can be written as k times 0 plus 273. That will give you k times 273. Your x at 100 is k times 100 plus 273, that is equal to k times 373. Okay, now okay, what is this x0 means? You are taking your thermometer, okay, and placing it in ice. If it is length based thermometer, it will measure length obviously. If it is pressure based thermometer, it will measure pressure. If it is volume based thermometer, it will measure volume. If it is resistance based thermometer, you will calculate the resistance at 0 degrees centigrade. Okay, getting my point? So what is that you are doing? You are taking the object thermometer and you are dipping it in ice at once and you are dipping it in steam at once. So in doing so, your temperature thermometric property at 0 is this much, thermometric property at 100 is this much. Now to get the temperature, your T will be thermometric property at, okay, I will write this as steam point, okay, minus thermometric property, no wait, thermometric property at required temperature, okay, at that particular temperature, minus thermometric property at 0 by thermometric property at 100 minus thermometric property at 0. I will not write it, it is ice point. Okay, 0 means you look at only Celsius scale, but this is thermometric property at steam point, okay, minus thermometric property at, okay, it is ice point, steam point, and then it is, okay, ice point once again. Now you look at this, this will give you temperature in degrees centigrade. Okay, this formula is important. So now you substitute this, okay, to verify this you substitute this, okay, k times, okay, your x at t will be k times t plus 273, t in degrees centigrade plus 273. You substitute this into this equation, you will get temperature in degrees centigrade. So that means what is that I have done from this is I have calculated the temperature. Now, okay, this is your formula. Okay, how will you calculate temperature means you will use this formula, and using this formula, okay, when this formula is valid means this formula is valid, okay, under the condition that your thermometric property is directly proportional to temperature. If thermometric property is directly proportional to T square, then this formula is not valid. Okay, many books they will just give you upper fixed point minus lower fixed point by temperature minus upper fixed point by lower fixed point, like that they will write. Okay, but it is not correct. Your thermometric property at that temperature minus thermometric property at 0 by thermometric property at steam point minus ice point will give you temperature only if and only if this direct variation with a thermometric property with temperature is valid. Okay, if this is not valid, then it is gone. Okay, it is not correct at all. Okay, hope you have understood what I am trying to explain now. Okay, so just copy this stuff. Okay, now what will your different thermometers do? Okay, ultimately this X measuring properties, you will mark these scales and you will call it as thermometer. So now what are the different types of thermometers that you have means, okay, so if it is your mercury thermometer, okay, if it is your mercury thermometer, hope you have copied it down. Okay, so if it is your length based thermometer, that is your mercury thermometer, okay, how will you measure your temperature means length at temperature T minus length at ice point or 0 degrees centigrade minus length at 100 or steam point minus length at 0 degrees centigrade. That will give you into 100. Okay, I think I have multiplied it 100, right? No, I did not do it. Sorry, then it is my formula. If you are checking it correctly, it will be xt at 100 minus x0 by x0 into 100 is your temperature. Correct it. Okay, so into 100 is there in the formula. Okay, sorry, so into 100 is there. Okay, you just simplify. If you are checking it, you will get it. Into 100 will be there. Okay, so without 100, no. Okay, obviously in the denominator itself you will get 100. Okay, in the numerator T's will cancel off, so you will have 100. Okay, so now your temperature in degrees centigrade will be this much. If it is mercury thermometer, okay, they will give you length is so and so at this temperature, length at ice point is this much, calculate the temperature. So in mercury thermometer you have to use this formula. This is your temperature, okay, in degrees centigrade. T in degrees centigrade is given by this in mercury thermometer. Okay, now next, coming to your volume based thermometer. Okay, once again in volume based thermometer you will take, okay, here your volume at temperature T minus volume at 0 by volume at 100 minus volume at 0 into 100 is your temperature in degrees centigrade. Okay, this is your constant pressure gas thermometer. Okay, you cannot measure volume keeping variable pressure if you keep pressure constant, because you will have both always pressure and volume changing. So that is why you will do this. Next, coming to your pressure at T minus pressure at 0 by pressure at 100 minus P0 into 100. This is your temperature in degrees centigrade for constant volume gas thermometer. Okay, for resistance based thermometer you will write R at T minus R at 0 by R at 100 minus R at 0 into 100. And for EMF, okay, it is Seebeck's EMF and all will be there. Similarly, your EMF minus EMF at 0 by EMF at 100 minus into 100, like that you can simplify and then do it. Okay, so you will have simple questions related to thermometers. Okay, if nothing is mentioned about the proportionality, assume linear variation of temperature with that thermometric property and apply these formulas. Okay, hope you have understood it. Okay, in general, okay, from this much story I have explained, okay, your thermometry deals with measurement of temperature, and what is your formula for measurement of temperature means this much I have explained now. Temperature in degrees centigrade is thermometric property at that particular temperature minus thermometric property at ice point by thermometric property at steam minus thermometric property at ice into 100, provided your temperature is in degrees centigrade. Okay, ice is at 0, steam is at 100. This anyhow you know it, I don't need to explain further. Okay, hope there are no doubts at all. Okay, so this is how you are going to measure the temperature. Now if it is different types of thermometers, you change the value of X. Okay, next is your relation between, okay, different scales of temperature, relation between different scales of temperature. Okay, so this part is also important. Okay, so now normally you will have Celsius scale C minus 0 by 100 minus 0 is equal to F minus 32 by 212 minus 32, that is equal to K minus 273.15 by 373.15 minus 273.15, that is equal to, you will have Rømer and Rankine scale. So let me check in the books whether you have it or not. Okay, normally we will use only these three. R minus 0 by 80 minus 0, you check it in the internet or somewhere. Okay, I don't remember, but usually, okay, one will be 632 something. So I need to refer the book, it will just kill our time now. So these are the commonly used temperature scales. For us these are enough. Okay, so now what is this means? This is your ice point. So in Fahrenheit scale, what is your ice point means 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, if you take Fahrenheit scale and dip it in ice, it will show 32. Okay, and if you dip it in steam, it will show 212. Okay, you are marking the scales like that. Okay, with gaps. Okay, this much length, so this is this much, that is that much, like that. On the top and bottom you will do the markings. If it is Celsius scale, 0 and 100. If it is Fahrenheit scale, 32 and 212 on the scale. And if it is Kelvin scale, it is 273.15 and 373.15, like this you will measure this. Okay, and different ranges of temperature. Okay, pyrometers and all, they will measure very high temperatures compared to this. Okay, so thermometers you don't use, you will use for measuring 1000 degrees centigrade, 1200 degrees centigrade, such kind of stuff you will use pyrometers. But for now, okay, commonly used scales in physics, these three, that's all. Okay, now the next important point is here, if we simplify this, okay, C by 100 is equal to F minus 32 by 180, that is equal to K by, okay, 100 once again. Okay, now multiply, take 20 common in the denominator. C by 5 is equal to F minus 32 by 9, that is equal to K by 5. Okay, so now here I want you to understand, it is K minus 273.15 by 100 once again. So this is your relation between different temperature scales. My advice is remember this top box. Okay, remember the top box, don't remember the bottom box, but you have to remember both. It's better if you remember both. Now important point, okay, very important, I will put stars, that is your relation between temperature difference in different scales. Okay, relation between temperature difference in different scales. So what is this relation? I will tell you. Your delta C by 5 is equal to delta F by 9, that is equal to delta K by 5. How did you get this? I will tell you. So from this, what is that you are supposed to understand is, okay, so 1 degrees temperature difference is same in Celsius scale and Kelvin scale, and 1 degree centigrade temperature difference in Fahrenheit scale is equal to 5 by 9 of, you can look into this. From here your delta C is delta K. From this the conclusion is temperature difference is, okay, I am not saying temperature is same, I am talking of temperature difference. Temperature difference is same in Celsius and Kelvin scale. Okay, temperature difference is same in Celsius and Kelvin scale. Okay, in Celsius and Kelvin scale temperature difference is same, and your delta C is 5 by 9 of delta F, which implies, okay, from this relation my point is, okay, if you bring this as 1 degrees Fahrenheit, okay, your delta C is, okay, if you are bringing 1 degree centigrade change in Fahrenheit scale, it is 9 by 5. If you are bringing 1 degrees Fahrenheit temperature difference, that will bring delta C is equal to 5 by 9 of degrees centigrade, you will get it. Okay, if you are bringing 1 Fahrenheit change, okay, 1 Fahrenheit degrees change is equivalent to 5 by 9 degrees centigrade of Celsius scale, like this. Okay, now how did you get this relation? From this only we will get this. How? I will tell you. So okay, I will erase this part. Okay, this is the most important point which we are going to use later. So now for example, if I am writing C1 by 5 is equal to F1 minus 32 by 9, okay, and okay, I will write C2 first. Let us say C2 is the reading in Celsius scale and F2 is the reading in Fahrenheit scale, and C1, if it is in Celsius scale, C1 is equal to F1 minus 32 by 9. Now if you subtract these two, okay, if you are subtracting these two values, C2 by C1, okay, C2 by C1, hello, 2 కోస్తా మీరు తినేయండి, టైం పట్టింది మీరు తినేయండి, క్లాస్లో ఉన్నా ఒక హాఫ్ అన్ అవర్ పైన పట్టింది. So now if you are taking the difference here, okay, so that will become C2 minus C1 is what? C2 minus C1 by 5, that is equal to this F2 minus 32, F1 minus 32, denominators are same, 32 will cancel off. You are going to get F2 minus F1 by 9. So that implies your delta C by 5 is equal to delta F by 9. Okay, so here what is that I have tried is, I have tried to give proof of this. How did you get this? From this. Okay, so this is important, these relations are important. Okay, remember this stuff, remember this different stuff and all. Okay, now based on this there will be simple questions. Okay, so on the temperature part alone there will be simple questions, we will do those now. Okay, so with this basic part will be finished, then we will go to slightly different idea. Now for now just take the idea as, so for now, okay, take this idea. So based on this a simple questions. Question number 1, at what temperature reading in C and F scale are same? This is your first question. Okay, try it. Do it. So if you are doing this, C by 5 is equal to F minus 32 by 9 is the relation. So X by 5, if reading is same, let the reading be X. So that will give you X by 5 is equal to X minus 32 by 9. So 9X is equal to 5X minus 160. So no, wait, 9X is equal to 5X minus 5 to the 10, yeah, 160. 9X minus 5X is equal to minus 160. 4X is equal to minus 160. So that is X equal to minus 40. That means your minus 40 degrees centigrade. Okay, you should not write equal to. If you are writing minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit, it is wrong. Here temperatures are not same. Okay, why? Because your minus 40 is what? Minus 40 plus 273 Kelvin if you are converting. Okay, so they are different, but here reading is same. Okay, minus 40 and this thing is same. Yeah, minus 40 degrees centigrade is same as 40 Fahrenheit. Okay, so minus 40 degrees centigrade will be same as Fahrenheit scale, the same temperature value. Okay, right? Next, your next question is, under what condition you try for Fahrenheit and Kelvin scale? Under what condition for Fahrenheit scale and Kelvin scale temperature is same? Replace the values by X. Okay, now with this your basic questions are done. Now the next thing that we are going to see is your error in the reading such kind of questions. If we are asked, your error in reading is, okay, final minus initial value. Okay, final minus initial value is your error. And if your percentage error is asked, okay, then it is error by true value into 100. Okay, so use these formulas in the questions if required. Okay, so in the problem solving session we will see different questions. Next thing is, I want you to draw a graph of C versus F and F versus C graph. Okay, so draw these graphs. So now what is the relation here? We know that your C by 5 is equal to F minus 32 by 9. So from here C is, okay, 5 by 9F minus 5 times 32 by 9. So now this is, if you are drawing C versus F, this is Y, your slope is 5 by 9 M, your Fahrenheit is X, minus this part is C. Now if you draw a graph of C versus F, okay, if you draw C versus F graph, y equal to mx plus c is a straight line. Now if you substitute f0, you will get the value of c. When f is 0, c is how much? Minus 5 times 32 by 9, no? So on y axis x is 0, on y axis x is 0, on x axis y is equal to 0. So now here what is that you are supposed to do is, okay, when x is 0, okay, your c value is minus 5 times 32 by 9 means minus 160 by 9 is what you are going to get. And when f is 0, when c is 0, okay, when c is 0, how much you are getting? When c is 0, 9 will go off, you are going to get it as 32, right? When c is 0, it is 32. So when c is 0, f is 32. When c is 0, f is 32. So you will get 32. So it will be a straight line like this. So positive slope. Positive slope means acute angle with positive x-axis. Okay, this angle is theta. This tan theta will give you 5 by 9. This value is 160 by 9. This value is 32. Okay, this angle is also theta. Okay, right? So accordingly you can substitute and get the answers. Okay, right. Next, if you are drawing f versus c graph, how will the axis be means? Okay, so f is how much? 9 by 5c plus 32. If I rearrange the terms, okay, from here f is 9 by 5c plus 32. That will give me, okay, this is y, this is m, this is x plus c. Now y equal to mx plus c. Once again it is a straight line. Now when x is 0, how much is y means? Okay, when x is 0, your y is, okay, y is minus, when x is 0, y is c plus 32. When c is 0, f is 32. So it will become 32. Okay, and your positive slope is there. And when f is 0, c is, okay, minus 160 by 9. So it will be a line like this. Okay, with positive slope even here, your tan theta is equal to 9 by 5. This part is 32. This part is minus 160 by 9. Okay, so check it. Okay, here also the slope is positive. Okay, so you will get 9c by 5 plus 32. So nothing will change. Yeah. So you will have a graph like this. You will be asked questions on f versus c and c versus f, and what is slope and all will be asked. You can do this. Okay, right? Next, coming to the next part. Okay, problem solving session will be it will be separate. Okay, this is enough. Okay, those who are capable of doing the homework, if you watch my videos twice or thrice, automatically you will be able to do any question, because almost I am covering anything with nothing missing. Next important point is, okay, now what we are actually studying is actually your old thermometry. Okay, old thermometry in the sense, for measurement of temperature, what is that you are doing? T is equal to xt minus x0 by 100, x at 100 minus x at 0 into 100. Now this is your old thermometry. Okay, now in modern thermometry, what is that you are going to do is, okay, your modern thermometry is also based on your thermometric property is directly proportional to temperature, no doubt about it. But instead of having ice separately, water separately, there is something called as triple point bath cell. Okay, triple point bath cell. This you will study in chemistry in detail, but for physics part, how much alone is required, that much only I list and then I leave. Okay, it is a cell where in which you have ice plus water plus steam existing in equilibrium. Okay, and this will be around 0 degrees centigrade, and around 4.16 mm of Hg, if I remember it correctly. So now, okay, this is your standard triple point temperature value, and using this, what happens is, okay, we just take the body and we just simply place it in thermometric, I mean we'll measure the thermometric property in triple point. So if you are doing so, your thermometric property at triple point is equal to some constant K into temperature of triple point. Temperature of triple point is known in Kelvin scale. If you are writing, it is some 273.15 something. Okay, so that much value you will write it, and your thermometric property at some required temperature, it is K times temperature. Okay, in which scale? If this is in Celsius scale, this will answer also will be in Celsius scale. If it is in Kelvin scale, this will also be in Kelvin scale. Now if you divide these two, okay, if you divide these two equations, x at T by x at triple point is equal to K times temperature T by K times temperature at triple point. K will go off. Your temperature is x at T by x at TR times temperature of triple point. Okay, so in HC Verma also there are last 1 or 2 questions in the example or somewhere in the last. You use this formula, you will get the answers. Okay, where xt is temperature of temperature of the thermometric property at some normal temperature, and xtr is thermometric thermometric property at the triple point. Okay, so using this we can actually do this your modern thermometry. Okay, so with this, okay, your basic thermometry introduction part is done. Okay, problem solving session, that will be a different lecture. Now tomorrow we will start with thermal expansion. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you.